over.
Yeah, I can't imagine why they went out of business.
No, hey guys, welcome to Nemcast episode 3. As you can tell, Ben isn't here from Airsoft. This is
Greg
or Poopsmccool, as you've probably found out online if you follow us on social media. So, in today's episode, we're obviously not going to be covering the topic we mentioned earlier. Hopefully we'll be doing that podcast on Monday with Ben. In this one, we're going to be talking about, in the first part, how to save money, because obviously things are getting a bit tighter nowadays financially with people. Interest rates are going up, and people, if they're not careful, potentially might start dropping out the hobby. So we thought an interesting topic to cover would be, helpful ways that might save you a few quid and just keep you playing on a more regular basis. Part 2 is going to be a little site review. Me and Kieran went to a little site called Black Hills, other side of Chesterfield. That was an interesting site, so I'm going to do a bit of a review on that. And then part 3, we're just going to basically just essentially cover what's going to be happening in the next episode. So let's sort of start off with part 1. Hey guys, welcome to part 1, and this is how we're going to try our best to help save you a few quid and stay in the hobby, especially over these sort of harder times. Things are getting a lot tighter financially with people. Interest rates are going up through the bloody roof, to be honest. So one of the first things we considered was BBs.
The easy thing for that is bulk buy.
Yeah, bulk buy. So
just find the ones you like and bulk buy them.
Yeah, we currently use a company called Warhead brand BBs. They're really good quality BBs, and you can buy in bulk. If you've got, say, a group of 5 mates, you should be able to... You're a fucking idiot.
A few moments later.
No, but seriously, just bulk buy BBs.
Yeah, if you bulk buy BBs, say you've got a group of 5 mates.
Westie.
Yeah, Westie's a prime example. You can go online, and normally the more you buy, the cheaper it gets. So if you've got, say, like I said before, 5 or 10 mates, you all chip in. I think for Warhead BBs, for 20 kilos of 2.5s, it is what?
That's 2.8, 1.5. 155.
So it's say 155 quid for 20 kilos of 2.8s. You can split the cost. It's going to work out to about, I think it's between £6 and £8 a bag each, which is quite a considerable saving.
You're getting a phone call from 942.
2,000 years later.
So
BBs!
We'll get the podcast on in a minute. Now, if it was me personally, I always recommend people try Warhead. You're going to save a lot of money going through them, and you're going to get a very high quality BB. So that's one way of saving money. Other ways is look after your batteries. A lot of people will finish the day, chuck the batteries in the bag, and forget about them.
Or leave them in the rifle.
Yes,
yeah.
Harry. So make sure you put your batteries on storage charge if you're not playing for a few weeks. Or at least give it a charge, one of the two. If you can't be asked to give it a storage charge, just show them some attention. Clean your barrel of your gun.
Yes, right, I was just going to say, I never decharge them or anything like that, so that's probably my fault. But also, please clean your barrels.
Yes, for the love of God, clean your barrels. I get so many customers who send me guns in where they'll say it's just all over the place. I don't understand. I'll go, send it me in then, assuming there's something wrong with the gun. I'll clean the barrel and the clean rod just comes out, the cloth comes out black.
And that's all it is.
And it's, more often than not, it's just dirt. So maintain your shit. That way you're not going to have to send your gun off to a tech or think your gun's broken, you can't play anymore because you've not got the money. So basic maintenance of kit. Now, if you've got the money now, buy some good kit that's going to last. Don't buy cheap. Try and buy slightly better quality that's going to last for a year or so. Because, this financial instability we're going through right now, it's going to last a couple of years. So the better off you are now, the longer that kit's going to last.
I just want to say, when someone argues about this company or that company, when it comes to airsoft kit, I mean, you've got the non-brand AliExpress, Amazon stuff. It's like, I paid 25 quid, 15 quid for this chest rig. That's okay when you do airsoft like once a month, right? When you do it as much as we do, obviously we're a bit into it. We prefer like stuff that we do it like twice a month, every 2 weeks.
At least twice a month, sometimes more.
So you just need something that's just like it's a better build quality. So like your rifles. So you're not spending money on oh, my boots have broken, so I have to buy a new pair of boots. You get a decent pair of boots, so they last you. That's what it's basically about. You get some decent kit, so that it saves you in the long run, so you don't have to keep buying stuff.
Yeah. I mean, one thing you do need to consider, if you get some decent walking boots that are comfortable, you'll be able to use them outside of Airsoft as well.
Yeah.
So if you want to go for a hike, it's pretty cheap.
But one of our friends,
get 'em used.
he kept saying this to me, and it was specifically about Cry. Now, I've got some Cry. Oh, that's expensive, so no. So I go for the mid-range stuff. But he did say this one thing, and it's buy once, cry once. So you buy it expensive once, but that's it.
And you can have a little cry because you spent all your money.
You got buyer's remorse for a bit, but then you've got a really good, decent bit of kit that you know is actually going to last you. And again, you don't have to go for Cry or like Haley Strategic or what's the other ones?
I don't know all the
like
expensive
Spirited
ones.
Systems, stuff like that.
There's all sorts out there.
Just TMC, TMC, Emerson. They're like
I've got Emerson's. They run really nice. I think the Viper ones are okay. People.
I was going to say that they're like the higher range of price. It's not as expensive as the real stuff, but in my opinion, it's just as good.
Yeah, I mean, for how often we're using it, we're not using it every day.
You know that plate carrier I got? It's I got a Velocity Systems Scarab plate carrier. I paid £300 from it from America because I liked it. I liked the look of it. Couldn't find it anywhere. Month later, looked on eBay and I found an Emerson Repro. Guess how much it was?
I dread to think.
£80.
Ooh, that was a wound taken.
Yeah,
there.
just as good. So shop about, but like I say, get the best quality stuff you can afford because it won't wear away as much. You know, you get straps that break, also threads, stitching.
Yeah, stitching. I mean, obviously the cheaper stuff, the stitching's not going to last as long. But I don't know a great deal about that sort of thing. I'm more rifles and tech side.
That's why you got me here because I'm the gear nerd of the group. The other thing as well.
Surplus gear.
Yeah, surplus gear
that's
sometimes
good for,
okay.
Surplus stores for like boot. No, I wouldn't say don't wear army boots. That's the mistake everyone makes when they first start. Oh, I'm doing airsoft. I'll buy me some army boots. Anyone, and Westy can attest to this. Anyone who's ever worn army boots for a long period of time absolutely hates them.
Yeah,
just
they're
get
not comfortable.
Decent hiking boots. Got good, the comfort. They're actually made for like being worn all the way through the day and lots of movement with them. Ankle support as well. I've seen lots of like twisted ankles and stuff. Yeah, they're
trying to run around in trainers and they hurt their feet, and it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
So what we've covered so far. You need to maintain your rifle as best you can. Get some fairly sort of decent-ish kit, so it's going to last over the next few years. So it's okay saying just buy cheap, and if you can't afford to go, you can't afford to go. But if you really enjoy the hobby, you want to go every second week or whatever to your local site, you're going to need it to last a couple of years. So going for that sort of mid-tier is going to work out well in the long run.
That's the thing. Get decent stuff. Everyone has their own opinions, and everyone's always asking us, what do you get, what do you buy? And it's like, well, find something you like that's good, that's going to last.
Yeah.
Don't get concerned with the name brand, because I'm going to say something that might be controversial here. Tokyo Marui is a brand name only. Everything else about them is, as the French would say.
Yes, well, it's slightly off tangent, obviously, but TM are okay, but they're not as a tech. No, they're not my favourite brand.
They're plastic and they're awful.
Yes, the finest Chinesium.
I've never owned a Tokyo Marui after I had like one.
Yeah.
Cyma.
Cyma our king. Moving on. One thing now, going on about TMs and cheaper guns as well, all sorts of stuff. If you can, learn to maintain your own rifle. Now, obviously I'm a tech, I make money off people not being able to maintain their own stuff properly. But I have a range of tech tips on the YouTube channel. Now on there's just some basic maintenance guides. I'm going to keep adding, as the channel grows, I'll keep adding small videos to it. So people can sort of learn how to maintain their own kit. And if they want to upgrade some bits, they can learn at the same time how to do that. That's going to save you a fortune. Because when your rifle breaks, you don't necessarily need to just sell it and get another one or buy a new one.
Oh, that's what I used to do.
We used to do that. Before I learned how to tech years and years ago, as soon as my rifle broke, take it to the site, see if anyone's got one for trade, go and buy a new one. If not, and you'd spend a fortune. So if you can learn how to maintain your own rifle, even if it's just a piston change, it's so easy to do once you've got your sort of head wrapped around the basics.
one thing as well. For the love of God, stop telling people to use WD-40 for lubing pistols and stuff. I keep seeing that. No.
I've seen a lot of people use that.
Stop.
There's plenty of helpful videos out there on YouTube. So, what have we covered so far? Bulk buy BBs with your friends. That's going to save you a lot of money.
Batteries.
Clean your kit. Keep it nice and tidy. Decent kit.
Yeah, decent kit.
Other ways to save yourself money. One of the ways is going to be try and lift share. If you're
I was going to say that. Yeah.
Cut the amount of crap you're taking down to site. So say 2 rifles and your basic kit, and see if you can jump in the car with your mate. Even if it's going to cost you chucking literally 2 or 3 quid for the fuel, it will save you some money. Simple things like that. When you speak, if you're the kind of people that will go to the same site every year, make sure you've got your membership. If you've got your membership, that's going to save you some money. We've covered the basics. Now, obviously, someone's probably going to comment saying, well, if you can't afford it, you just don't go. Fair enough. If you can't afford to go, you can't afford to go. But the reason we're trying to just spitball a few ideas out there is because as things get more expensive, people are going to go less and less, and the airsoft sites are going to struggle. You're going to get a few closures. And it's the same as your local pubs and your local businesses. You've got to support them. If you don't support them, they could close. And if they close, there's no airsoft site near you, then you have to give up the sport.
Yeah, because it's going to cost more to go further afield, yeah.
So the reason we say all this is so you can save a bit of money now, so at least your local site and you have somewhere to play in the future. So at the end of the day, if you need any help or advice, we'll do our best. Drop a comment. If you've got any suggestions, please put it in the comment section. Someone might take your advice as well, and maybe it'll help them. We don't know.
Well, that's the one thing about Airsoft. It's like we get asked when we're at a site, like especially our home site, you get lots of new players, rentals, and they're always asking questions, and that's the best thing.
Yeah, just ask. Now, one thing that might be helpful, which we'd suggest you try and do if you can, if your local site's getting a little bit run down, and the owner's perhaps struggling a little bit or whatever, just offer to help them out. Because it's probably going to be quite tight for them. The rent's going to have gone up, the insurances are going to have gone up a little bit. Just speak to them, say, do you need a hand on that weekend? I'm not doing anything. You don't have to, but it will help. And the more you improve your local, the better you're going to get looked after as a player. It's a win-win if you've got a bit of spare time. So, enough harping on about the doom and gloom side of having no money.
Well, I was going to say better run sites. Look at Skirmish.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. Don't waste your money going to crap sites. If you go to a site regular that is just shite, you're not going to enjoy the game very much, and you're going to go out of habit. Try a few new sites this year. If your budget can stretch, because obviously you won't have a membership, so it's going to be a little bit more expensive and that side of things. But if your budget can stretch a little bit, never a bad time to try new sites, because what will end up happening is you'll start to get tighter on budgets. You're going to the same site, it's getting really boring, it's getting really run down, stagnating, and then you'll drop out the sport as well. So what might be worth doing is just speak to your mates, organise and say once every 2 months, once a month, whenever.
That's what we've been saying about ages, that we need to go to more sites.
Yeah, we were threatening for years to do it, and then we said this is the year we're going to try and do it.
So I'm so glad to hear that the stand's reopened.
Yeah, well, you're one of the OGs of the stand, aren't you, in Chesterfield?
Setting small fires. Wasn't me.
So let's go, right. Part one out of the way, we're going to take a brief pause.
They don't mix.
I'm going to go get a small time. So we're going to talk about Greg's experiences in Airsoft, because I was going to do Airsoft's sort of background and his story and how he started the company, but he's not here because he's poorly. So let's do Poopsmccool, the Instagram tag.
Yes.
How did you get the name Poopsmccool, Greg?
Well, I was going airsofting with my brother and my friend, and the night before I had a curry and some pints. So we were going to Skirmish actually, which is the site I just mentioned. I like that site, it's a good site. So as we're going there, now we're travelling from Matlock, so it's a bit of a journey. It's about 40 minutes? Mm-hmm. So again, a little bit hungover. bit of curry. We all know we've all been there, haven't we, Harry? Yeah, we know what you did.
The naff incident.
We know what you did in that queue. Anyway, so halfway there, I really need the toilet. And I'm in the back seat of my mate's car. Well, it's not his car, it was his dad's car, which kind of makes this funnier. They had leather seats, which hindsight actually worked out better for everyone involved. So, as we're going there, halfway there, I say, I need the toilet. Can you please pull over at there's like petrol stations all over the place. And he's like, no, we're nearly there, we've got like 20 minutes. It's like, dude, I'm not going to make it 20 minutes. And he's like, no, we'll make it, don't worry. I'm like, well, we don't have to now. And he goes, what? And then, when the smell hits you, it's like, that happened to my brother and my mate in the front of the car. So he starts screaming, shouting at me because I've shit myself. And
it's going to be really difficult for me to keep a straight face.
Dude, this is horrific. So it gets worse. So, like I say, back a seat, and it's curry, so it's not just there, it's
down the legs.
Down the back of the legs. Those trousers, we had to burn them. I think we just threw them over the fence, but sorry to that person's garden.
I didn't know him at this point.
This was like...
Nemtac does not associate with this fatherless behaviour.
This was, do you know Phoenix Airsoft?
It's just down the road from skirmishes.
Right,
I've never been. I'd like to try. But.
Phoenix Airsoft used to run out of the skirmish site, so it was when this is how long ago it was. I'm old.
Cue the Uncle Alfred during the war.
Anyway, so we eventually get to the Tesco's that was nearby, and we send my brother in to the Tesco's to get luckily it was one of the big ones that have all the clothes. They've got everything you need. And that's not an advert for Tesco's. And so I'm cleaning myself off in the corner of the car park. That's another piece of advice I want to give to people. Always take your own toilet paper and wet wipes.
Yes, Greg's a very careful man nowadays. He brings all the things.
Yeah, I mean, I'll poo anywhere, but as long as I've got toilet paper, I'm fine. Right. So anyway, I'm cleaning myself down. The trousers have just gone. Right. Even the socks were just destroyed. Underwear, don't even want to think about it. So it's taken my brother like 15-20 minutes to come back from Tesco's. All he's doing is underwear, socks, jeans, trousers, whatever. And it's taken him like 20 minutes. And he comes walking through the park, and now I'm in the corner of Tesco's cupping myself because, I've got nothing on. I'm Donald Ducking it. There's nothing, right? And he walks towards me as calmly as ever, and he holds up a t-shirt. He goes, oh, I bought myself a new t-shirt. I'm like, give me the fucking trousers. So, finally got myself clean, new underwear, jeans on, and my mate's like, right, we're going home. And I'm like, no, we are not going home. We're more than halfway there. We're fucking going and playing Airsoft. One of the best days Airsoft I've ever had. It was so much fun. Initially, the start was a bit of a disaster.
Bit ropey start, yeah.
Oh, it was like the Hindenburg.
And then your Instagram name, Poopsmccool, became a thing.
I couldn't think of anything, and I just thought, this is funny.
True. It's a horrifying story from our sponsor player Greg here.
Also, this is another thing. Just don't take everything too seriously.
Yeah, to be fair, we try and do the podcast
as long as
serious.
no one's stabbed and there isn't a fire, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, we tried to take the podcast serious at the start, first two episodes. We sounded a bit boring. I did read that comment. Someone said we're moaning all the time.
It's probably me.
So, it probably was. And obviously Ben was ill, and I thought I'll add some chaos and invite Greg onto the podcast.
The thing is, Harry's worse.
Oh, Harry's quite well behaved on the camera.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like the MP5 one, he's just quiet.
Oh, I just mean in general.
Oh no, he's completely uncouth in real life.
Oh god, he's like, yeah.
So, what sites have you been to over the years? Because obviously you've been playing a lot longer than me. Yeah.
Now, I used to go to Phoenix a lot, because that was like the first site we ever heard of. Well, first site I ever went to was Matlock Combat Games up the hill.
Yeah.
Because, it's Matlock.
It was one of my
just
first
up there. So it's
locals
like,
as well.
Went there, it's like, you went not airsoft, you went paintball with your mates, and it's like, it's fun, but it's like, it lacks something. It's like when you want to shoot at your mates with something, one, you don't want it to hurt like you've just been fucking punched in the face. Two, it's mucky, I'm sorry, I don't care about mud. Obviously, we know about fecal matter. That doesn't bother me in the slightest from that story. But the paint, it's horrible. It goes crusty and it cleans up. No, it doesn't. It stains. I've still got a sleeve with yellow stuff on it.
Yeah, that's my one complaint about skirmish. No matter where you go at skirmish airsoft,
Yeah.
you're covered in paint if you lean on cover.
But that's because they do paintball and gel blasters.
That's actually a wise bit of advice. If you do go to skirmish, wonderful site, highly recommend. Don't lean on the cover if you value your camo anyway. It does wash out, but...
So, anyway, went to MCG once, and it's like, well, this is... Because we went paintballing, it's like, oh, there's this airsoft site. It's kind of like paintball, but for cheaper. It's like, yeah, let's do that.
A bit more LARPy, isn't it, really?
Fell in love with it straight away. I got my absolute ass handed to me by... Is it the Big G? Big M.
Big M?
Yeah. In a bunker, he riddled the shit out of us, and it was the most fun I've ever had. So after that, we're like looking for like more airsoft sites. We found Phoenix when it was oh god, it was so long ago, I can't remember the name of it. But if anyone used to go to the site that had the mill, and you had to walk up those stone steps, the steps of doom, you know the place I'm talking about, because you're in the car park and you had to carry all your kit up these stone steps. It's like here, you know, you got like weird steps in the middle of nowhere because it used to be a mill. So you had to carry all your kit up there. It's like, that's when you start learning, you know what, I don't need this. I can chuck that out of the bag. Yeah,
you start to thin your kit down a bit.
Yeah. So started playing there. Then, pretty much stayed with Phoenix up until... Because they had that site, they had a very good urban site in Chesterfield for a bit, but that didn't stay because... What happens with most sites? The guy that owns the land wants to build housing on it, and
it's a shame, that, isn't it?
That was a really good site. That taught me how to definitely wear a helmet sometimes.
What was that site called? Can you remember?
It was on the motorway or bypass. You know when you go, you go past the TGI Fridays and you go right.
Yes.
There's like that industrial estate, isn't there, on the left? It used to be up there.
Okay.
So again, that's where I learned wear a helmet doing CQB because I smashed my head into a air vent for a furnace. Luckily I was wearing a helmet because no damage done.
Oh no,
it scratched the shit out of the helmet. It's like, good. Yeah, I'll turn around to these lads and went, get a helmet. That's good. That was a good site. Then there was the Phoenix site when they had it at Skirmish. Again, we spoke about that before. The site they've got now, we stopped going there because we just... You know when you got a mate who like he does airsoft and then he gets out of it and it kind of throws you off a bit. Happens to us all, and it was sort of like that. So it's like, so I stopped doing it for about 2-3 years, and then met you, and then suddenly I'm making Kydex holsters and
you're on YouTube
cleaning in barrels and talking about pooing myself on the internet.
Yes, that's his tradition.
Yeah. So there was that. Then once we got back in, just pretty much MCG. There was the Tack House in Chesterfield.
Yeah, what was Tack House Sparta like? I've heard many good stories about that.
It was so good. It was a lot bigger than you actually expected. It's like you drive in, or you drove in because they've changed it now, and it looked like a small house, but it actually went really far back because it was like a couple of warehouses, and then you had like the kill house, which I think used to be the office block. That was a good site. Again, that closed for the same reason that the Skirmish site closed.
So, right, let's round up part one, which was utter fucking chaos. I do apologise.
I don't.
We'll be back shortly for part two. Now, this is my sort of small site review of Black Hills Airsoft, which is the other side of Chesterfield to me, so other side of Chesterfield to Matlock. I went there, I think it was last weekend, for a Saturday game. It had been raining the day before, but it was dry on the day. But it wasn't raining heavy. So let's go into how we started the day now. Greg, you didn't come.
No, I found out the hard way that gin and Monster, it's lovely when you drink it, but it didn't...
The hangovers are raw. So,
oh, God.
Me and Big Kieran went, we had a good day. It was a good site. There's a few complaints, a few pointers that I'd like to put forward to the site owner if they ever care to listen to this. I don't know if they would. And whether I'd recommend it or not. So let's start off with, you go on the website and try and book on. How would you book on? Well, how do you find the website initially?
Well, you just told me to type in Black Hill Airsoft.
Well, go and contact us.
Yeah.
So naturally, you're going to put that in the postcode, aren't you? And you're going to follow Google Maps. You're not going to read any further.
Oh, do you mean find as in physically?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant the internet.
No, well, yeah, sort of.
I don't go anywhere.
My point is, I do quite a lot of deliveries, and in my other job.
There's
and you tend to just put the postcode in, look at the address, look at roughly the picture on Google Maps, which is just below the address.
They have a little bit of a map here, but
a small map. It's not the best map.
It's like
it's just a Google Maps satellite picture.
It's half of the screen. You have to zoom out just to realise where Chesterfield is.
Yeah.
That's not even... Yeah.
So, I put the postcode in, follow Google Maps, takes me to the end of a sort of a housing estate road type thing. It's a nice enough spot, nice area. And there's no sign. There was no sign. So we had to sort of take a rough guess, and we ended up going up someone's drive.
I was
a
just
long
about to
farm
say,
drive.
you end up in the wrong field and...
Oh yeah, God yeah. And I'm in a big van.
You're going to get a pissed off farmer and some sheep. Well, cows round here.
Well, thankfully the people who were already there, they went, oh, don't worry, this happens quite often. Just go to the bottom of the road.
So it happens enough for them to know it happens, but they didn't.
Yeah, they didn't know where the site was.
No,
they said stuff happens. They said stuff happens over the hill. And we're like, there's a hill behind us, but I can't get there through your land. So we go back down to the main road, and it looks like we come out. Just hang on, we come out the drive, and there's another drive, and the main road. So I figured maybe it's up the main road. So we have an adventure.
Yeah.
We end up calling my mate Elliot, who happens to be a marshal there. He recommended the site to me. I'm not going to lie, it was a good recommendation. And he ran down to the bottom. And it turned out, if you're ever going to this Black Hills Airsoft site, you've got to go up past a house. Now there's a white sort of bungalow, a house, two-storey house, I think. On the left-hand side, you're going to go straight up past that. So it's not down the farm track, the obvious track. You're going up just to the left-hand side of that, and there's a hedge. And it does tell you on the website, but it's not first and foremost. You would have thought it would be a bit more obvious, or maybe even make a small video, or just make it a bit more self-explanatory. I type Black Hills Airsoft into Google, it brings up the address on Google, and I just punch that in and go. I couldn't find it. It took me a good half an hour to get to the site, more than it should have.
And like I was going to say, when someone says, oh, it's over that hill there, it's not a good thing to say to someone in Derbyshire. We just have hills.
Yeah, there is just hills.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of signage would be nice. Even if this is my very humble take it or leave it type of advice, get one of those signs that sort of coffee shops have or whatever, where it's just like a weighted base and a swing sign, and just have Black Hills Airsoft this way and an arrow. It'd be really simple, quite cheap and effective. Put that up at the bottom of the drive, and that's my first qualm. Second complaint, we haven't quite got up the drive yet. The state of the drive up to that safe zone is horrific. It's obviously a Land Rover track or something on the weekends. I was in a big van, it's Peugeot Boxer, mid-wheelbase. It struggled like hell to get up there, and it's got brand new tyres on. They're not terrible tyres. It's a really bad drive. Like that time me and you went to that newly opened site and we got stuck in the mud.
Ah, yes.
Imagine that, but more divots.
Was it mud? Was there like a hill, or was it just?
It was. You were going up a hill.
No. So this news, the Black Hills, it was hilly, but
yeah,
because that other place.
So basically, as you're approaching the site, you come to the entrance, and then you go up a slight hill to get there.
We pushed up so many cars up that muddy hill at that other side. Guess how much help we got?
None.
Thank you.
So, yeah, it's not my most ideal first impression. Invest in some gravel and a mini digger and just level that drive out. It is inexcusable. We are looking at potentially trying new sites all the time, and that is by far the single worst entrance track I've seen. And I've been to quite a few sites now.
I was going to say that's saying something, because that one we just talked about, that is like the worst experience I've ever had.
I genuinely think if it was on a rainy day, I would have ended up off that track.
It's the worst experience I've had at an airsoft site that didn't include someone being a dick.
That site wasn't... Yeah. That site we're mentioning, obviously me and Greg went to a few years back, was an okay site, but their entrance track was bad. Black Hills it's close.
Do you remember that guy test firing in the safe zone who was firing it into the fucking road?
Yes. Anyway,
yeah!
So we've got up the track at this point and we enter the safe zone proper as such. Big open area, cars parked around. I thought, fair enough, park up just at the edge where everyone else is parked. I had to sort of skid my way across the safe zone and park up eventually. Here we are at Black Hills. Let's have a look at the state of the car park. As you can probably tell, it's a bit of a muddy miasma. Let's see how the rest of the day goes. Again, like I said, just if you have the funding, you need to buy about 10 tons of gravel, hardcore, scalpings, something cheap. Level it out first, chuck them down. It'll make a world of difference. Obviously, you're not going to get that problem in the summer. But in the winter, a lot of players are going to be put off by the state of that track up there and the car park. When you finished a day and your boots are thick with mud and just...
Or poo.
Yeah, just shit.
Well, it's me.
That's
called a callback.
So that is, thankfully, the worst bit about the site. The rest is pretty good. I'm not going to lie. The site itself has a lot of potential. A lot. But they are not using it or monetising it well enough. In, again, my humble opinion. Take it as a complaint, whether you like it or not, it's up to you. There's no cover. It's, how to describe it? It's a lot of shale pits or something from mining, so where they used to pile up, like, all the slag that comes out.
So it's just like a little bit of, not trenches or foxholes.
No, it's big hills, but there's big divots where they obviously used to be mining.
It's not like someone's purposely dug them, it's just been left there.
It's nice, natural. It now feels very nice and natural. A lot of grass, a lot of woodland, but it's sort of interspersed with open areas. But in those open areas, there's maybe 2 or 3 buildings, maybe. Just a bit of cover would go a long way. Obviously, it's a fairly large site. So it's not going to be cheap. So take it or leave it as you want. It's definitely a sniper's paradise. So we're out in the game zone of Black Hills Airsoft, and you'll see Kieran in the back there. As you can probably tell, it's a sniper's paradise. It's a very, very open area with a lot of enfilading terrain, hills, dips, etc. But no cover. So it works exceptionally well if you're sniping. And if you're aggressive and push up, you can do well. But I do like the dipping in the terrain and that sort of thing.
It has potential.
Yes, it's got good potential.
It's got very good potential if there was more structures and stuff.
Very muddy. I'd advise if you're going to come play, it's probably best for...
You need boots or wellies.
Boots or wellies, yeah. And summer might be better. But yeah, so far so good. First game went well. Marshalling was okay. No unfair play. The player base is quite friendly and welcoming. I've already spoke to a few chaps. They're nice. So yeah, we carry on. So we're back. We're still in part 2 on the review of Black Hills Airsoft. So we covered thus far the road up, the lack of signage, the muddy safe zone. The terrain itself, like I said earlier, was good. It's a lot of potential. Just needs a bit more investment and a few more buildings.
Like some obstacles and
just some basic obstacles.
Cover,
say IBCs, like something cheap, sandbags, bit supply, whatever you guys want to use it. You can get pallets really cheap from places, especially garden centres that tend to stack them up. They'll sell them on, you can buy them in cash. Just invest in some cover, it'll make a big difference. If you invest in the stone for the car park and the drive as well, you will increase your player base, because people are going to be put off by that road. So we sort of carry on. The marshals were great. I really liked the marshalling. They were nice, approachable, friendly. The rules they implemented weren't the best. The rules on the website are a bit ropey, and they probably have put them in there for insurance purposes, I don't know. And I know the snipers, what was the minimum engagement range and things like that? So,
what's it? 30 metres. 30 metres?
Yeah, 30 metres.
The fuck? Sorry.
Yeah. It's a bit extreme.
We've gone beyond this way.
Now,
30 metres? No.
Yeah.
It's like 20 metres everywhere you go.
I know. But they never mentioned 30 metres minimum engagement when we were there.
Oh, it's just when you go to a site when you're using a sniper, everywhere says 20 metres, so you assume.
Yeah.
It's like one of the unwritten rules of Airsoft. Keep any medication you've got in your top left-hand pocket. Everywhere does it. It's just one of those things. Snipers, 20 metres.
Yeah. It's just to everyone understands the basic rules.
Yeah.
Now,
30 metres?
that
Might
was...
as well not bloody do anything.
There's hardly any point to it.
No.
So, right. There's a few rules. Also, the way they ran the games, personally, I didn't find very interesting. It was a bit annoying for me. Now, I went with a couple of the lads that
Was
we know.
it attack, defend, and then reverse?
No, actually. They kept the games mixed up, and the site's big enough where you're not actually in the same place more than once. And if it is, it's just a switch round.
Yeah.
So the site felt very fresh. And to be fair, it was my first time there, but I didn't see the same place twice, unless it was a turnaround. So the way they ran the respawn, I didn't find enjoyable at all, because I think it was 50 paces
What?
away from combat. Now the way they ran a game. Now imagine
How big is the site?
It's
like
pretty
acreage?
big. It's pretty big.
Is it because...
It's big as It's at least as big as MTG.
So it's like 30 acres? Right.
Ish. Anyway, say this is the attack point, and the defend point is, say, this beer bottle here, and you're going downhill. So the attackers are sort of pushing down towards the defenders. The defenders are dying, and they can't really go back because they're now surrounded by attackers. The 50 paces thing doesn't work because they will just pace behind them and attack the attackers. It doesn't really work. But they ran that respawn style game almost the whole day. I don't personally mind it if it was once or twice, but it ran throughout the whole day. Just make it a straight up 2 hits and dead, or whatever, medic and dead type thing.
Usually when I play at different sites and it's you get hit, you walk back to
A regen point.
It's a regen point, or if it's 20 paces, it's usually 20 paces, and that's because we'll usually do it to keep the game going.
Yeah, it's not normally both teams either. Normally one team's on medic and dead, the other one's on 20 paces or whatever.
It's usually the attackers are on 20 paces. It's to get the games...
moving fast.
Yeah, moving fast, so people
the problem
don't get tied up and bored.
Both teams are on 50 paces or whatever it was.
That makes no sense.
Yeah. So you take so many paces back, and you could be pacing towards each other. It just depends on the combat. So it went completely haywire.
Especially defenders on that, because the whole point of defending is...
Well, another excellent example of this was both teams had a flag, and we had to get the opposing team's flag and bring it back to our base, so like a switcheroo type thing.
Yeah,
First one to get the enemy flag to their base wins. Yeah? Really quite simple. The problem was the people at the top of the hill, so I think it was the non-bans, and we were on the bans team, were doing... The enemy was doing incredibly well. They were pushing down to us, they'd surrounded us, we couldn't do a lot, but we were on 50 paces regen. Now, I didn't know where to go. I didn't know quite where their flag was because I'm completely foreign to the site. So I just walked up the hill at a slight angle, thought I'll just go where there's not many people. Walked 50 paces, got to the top of the hill, I've paced it out, I'm 50 paces away, I'm out of combat. Turn around, their flag's there, so I just went and grabbed their flag, shot their players, back to our base, we won. That rule of the 50 paces regen, or whatever you call it, doesn't work. If you're going to do it, one team only needs it, the other one needs to be on medic and dead. Otherwise the game feels completely discombobulated. If you do want that to keep the game running and people are in the game more, look up how... what's the company called? Ground Zero have respawn areas rather than sort of loose respawns.
Is that just
where
for the
people
festival,
respawn.
or is that what they do during their
I
actual
don't
games
know.
as well?
I'm guessing they have respawn areas more like designated regen games like we run sometimes, but personally, if I was Black Hills and they wanted to keep that sort of rule where people can stay in the game for as long as possible, have respawn areas and just say no spawn camping. That would be an interesting way to run it. At least try new things, because everyone that was new to the site that I spoke to didn't like that rule. And if you're running that rule purely based off the regulars, you're going to start losing business. And that put one of the lads that I went with off. They didn't like that rule. So if at least 1 out of 2 of us didn't like it, you've lost half the business on a regular basis, potentially. So that's that complaint out the way. It's not a major thing, it's an easy change thing. If I was, like I said before, if I was to recommend people to go to the site in summer, the one thing I would ask though, before anyone goes, before I could recommend anyone who subscribes to this channel or anything like that, they need to get a toilet. There isn't a toilet.
Oh.
It is a complete joke.
It's a good job I didn't go then.
Yeah. There isn't a toilet.
You can't tell by the smell.
Why isn't there a toilet?
Not
I mean,
even
in Portaloo is not hellishly expensive.
Even a trench?
No. So I went and asked the marshal very politely, and I tend to be quite a quiet chap. I'm as polite as I can be. Went, look, I need to use the loo. Where's your Portaloo? She went, oh, find a tree. Right, what if I just thought to myself, what if I need a shit? I can't just go and just curl one out by the tree. Kind of some poor bugger's going to stand in it.
Can I just? And this is why in the previous segment I said, take your own toilet paper.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I was very unimpressed by the lack of toilet. Now, let me go over the safe zone as it is, other than the obvious things. So, there's a few videos. I've taken a few videos. I will edit them in as we go, as best I can, where they fit between this utter fucking chaos. I do apologise for this utter mess of an episode.
I don't.
How to describe it? The safe zone, the undercover safe zone where there's seating, is actually like a small building with a roof,
right?
Like a watertight roof. Very good. I really liked that. A little bit messy. They could have done with moving the bins out. There was an area full of bins.
What's like the capacity and seating for that place then?
It was, I'd wager you could fit 50 people in there at a squeeze.
Not bad.
Maybe without loads of kit. Comfortably about 4. I'd say probably 50, but I wouldn't go more than that.
That's a good number. Is the seats like benches?
Yeah, it's like they're like little cubicle areas almost.
Oh, right, yeah.
So you could probably fit like a team of 8 or 10 people in each one. It wasn't a bad area, and there's like a big centre bench, nice and sociable. It's good. It's really good. I like that bit. Really, really good. And it was dry, which is nice because it wasn't the muddy bit. It's obviously undergoing a little bit of stagnation. I don't want to get banned from the site. I like it. I want to try the site again. I really do. And I'll probably take all my mates there. I've got a good group of lads who come with us from Nemesis Tactical, but it will be on a drier day. And I will have to warn them all about the mud and all that sort of shit. But
the lack of pooing facilities.
Yeah, the lack of pooing facilities, unless that changes. If that changes, we'll be there. I guarantee we'll be there. Because it's almost good enough to, not that I want to change, but it's almost good enough to call it my new local. Because I'm only in Matlock, so it's not exactly a long drive. Because, Black Hills is Chesterfield, where Matlock it's 40 minutes, if that.
Well, 40... Well,
with traffic.
No, it's like skirmishes 40 minutes from here.
True.
Chesterfield's
probably like
what,
20.
15, 20 minutes. It's literally over the hill.
Like I was discussing with Kieran, it's a great site with lots of potential, but they need to pull finger and spend some money. And I know, as we mentioned in part 1, things are getting tight. With any business, it's like a treadmill. You've got to keep walking just to stay static. And if you stop for 1 minute and let it go backwards, everything else pulls you backwards as well, and you can soon go tits up because your player base drops off because where's the toilet? They start saying, why is it so muddy, I can't get my car up here. That's another one who's not coming. Before you know it, you've gone down to like 7 or 8 regulars.
Yeah.
When most airsoft sites that I know of will get at least 50 regulars to 40 regulars at minimum. So they need to make some serious improvements seriously fast. Can I recommend the site to the subscribers overall at the end of the review? Yes, in summer if they have a toilet. If those things aren't sorted, the road isn't sorted and there's no toilet, I'd advise not to go. So what I'd probably suggest you do before you go is drop them an email, get in touch with them, get in touch with whatever versions they have of social media or that sort of thing, and just ask the question and make an informed decision from there. So that pretty much rounds up part 2.
Just realised, we tend to talk about toilets and pooing quite a lot.
Yes, so it's very important,
Well, it is.
especially when your mate might shit in your car.
Yeah, you do
And
feel.
you often come in the van with me, and I
You
don't
do
want to shit
feel a
in my
lot
van.
better after a big poo.
Yeah, so as you can probably tell, I'm deeply concerned about the lack of toilets with him, who often comes in my van with me to sites.
Phrasing.
No. Right. So that's the end of part 2. We'll see you in part 3, which is going to discuss what we're doing in the next episode. Cheers, chaps. Part 3. Part 3 is what's going on in the next episode, which, as you're probably aware, and I mentioned in the last one, we're going to have, hopefully if he's better, Ben, Raresoft in, and we're going to be doing a little bit about how Raresoft started, a bit of the sort of deep Raresoft lore as such, what sites he's been to, and see if he's shit himself like Greg has.
I mean, statistically, it's possible.
Maybe, not many people do at your age. But anyway, so
Actually, we do it more.
well, don't bring me into this. I don't, as an adult. It's only you and Harry that do. But anyway,
Because we're men.
that's the end of this horrifically unhinged episode. I'm dreadfully sorry. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I wouldn't be surprised if you unsubscribe from this because of this episode. That's completely fine if you do. I understand. So I'll catch you in the next
I'm
episode.
way worse in real life.
Cheers, chap.
Please stop. Please stop.